Hey, good morning, everyone. We're here for the Village of Airmont, the Community Design Review Committee meeting Tuesday, February 11th, 11 a.m. via Zoom. Our first application is for Shulam Shuk at 245 Cherry Lane for a proposed residential place of assembly, and we have proposed site plan and architectural submitted. Rachel, I know you're on, and I don't remember who the attorney is. Oh,
Paul,
Paul.
me, and Rachel. Morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Shulam Shuk, 245 Cherry Lane.
Do you want to review the project, Paul or Rachel, first?
Sure. So this is the corner lot right just south of Village Hall at Blossom and Cherry Road. It's an existing single-family house and a I guess it's a garage, two-story garage structure. So the plan is to build in between them, fill in that space between the house and the garage. The garage will become a place of worship. The rest of the addition would be for mikvahs and bathroom, and to build a small addition to the house to join them together. So it's a single structure. The residence will be used by the rabbi. I think the proposed occupancy about 30 congregants, but obviously we'll have to do the math on the numbers. I know this was submitted and it was labeled, quote, a residential place of assembly. However, I think it's probably better classified as a residential place of worship. So I'd like to hear Lou's comments on those uses and the particular restrictions and how we calculate floor area and determine size and occupancy limits, and parking, and sort of root out those issues. Because if this does qualify as a residential place of worship, you know, your code has an expedited review process as well as no public hearing requirement. So that's where I'm going with this. So I'd like to, you know, really get the interpretation of the consultants to the board on this application and this type of use. It's the first residential place of worship application that I'll ever be involved in, or that I have been involved in. All my others were freestandings. So I don't know if the board's seen a lot of these.
We have not. You say there's about 30 occupants, 30 congregants?
That's what I'm being told.
Okay.
So you have the architecturals. Were they adequate for you, Lou? The floor plans?
Yeah, I did. Based on the architecturals, there is, where are you finding residential place of worship? That was in the old code. It was removed.
No, that's in the, it's in the new code.
This
Residential place of assembly.
No,
Yeah.
12.1 is a residential place of assembly. 12.2 is a residential place of worship. Now, in the general code section, it's labeled as a neighborhood place of worship. It was never updated, but the local law repeals neighborhood place of worship in 12.2 and replaces it with a residential place of worship. So I think if you go through the standards of the general code, they might be the same, but I think the heading is wrong.
That is actually true. The category, the title is wrong. It was something I brought up to the village attorney months ago.
So that's why I'm looking at the residential place of worship section 12.2 from local law 2 of 2024.
But your drawings and it more accurately fits 210 12.1 residential place of assembly.
Well, I think it's going to be too big, Lou, because you can't exceed 1,400 square feet for a place of assembly.
And it doesn't. It's 1,041 square feet.
Okay, and that's, I guess that was part of my questioning. So the place of assembly, the garage is one structure, and then in between it,
The
there's a
garage has been
mikveh.
used as a house of worship for the last year, so this isn't a surprise.
No, but I'm saying is the mikveh. What about the mikveh portion? And the bathrooms, and the kitchen, and coffee, and the coat room, and the lobby? Are they counted towards the place of worship?
You have up to 1,400 square feet. I'd have to examine this more carefully.
Right, and that's really what I want to
So
look
the
at.
number of congregants is incorrect based on the formula. It'll hold
Are you using 15 or 60?
you've got to use 15. It says in the code 15 square feet per person. So it's almost 60 something seats.
Okay. So that's okay again, and that's the place of assembly, and that's why I'm saying I don't think I want to come in under a place of assembly. I think a residential place of worship in 12.2 is the appropriate one, because that allows it up to 49 congregants or 49% of the structure. And what you're saying is if we have to utilize in calculating the occupancy, it's 15 square feet just for the place of worship, the sanctuary, correct?
Correct.
So if we calculate the 49% of the gross floor area, do we include the mikvahs and the bathroom and the lobby as well?
We're reviewing the code right now.
Okay.
Yes, it would be the gross floor area.
So we'd have to include it all, right?
Correct. Everything.
Yeah. So I think the total combined is about 2,800 square feet.
And how, I don't see any dimensions on the house, so I don't know. It looks physically like it's larger than the house.
The house, from what I understand, is about 2,700 square foot. Top and bottom, 2 floors.
Well, it doesn't say that. It says gross floor area. Oh, yeah, it does say gross floor area. You know, the garage building that they're currently using also has 2 floors. Did you include that in the calculations?
I don't know. It
So that
doesn't
would
look
be,
like it.
that would be 2,000 square feet, 2,081 right there.
To count the second floor. Okay.
So you're looking to recalculate, reclassify this as a neighborhood place of worship.
I think it fits better. And that's the only reason why, because if you look at it, if we meet the numbers, but I don't see how we can then. If you're telling me you're gonna calculate the number of people based upon 15 square feet per person, then there's no way.
That's what the code says under 5A.
Yeah, that means the biggest place of worship you can have would be 735 square feet.
Without being called an assembly area. It's only classified under an R occupancy below 49. Once it goes above 49, it's an A3.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you're calculating it based upon 15 square feet per person, right?
Mhm.
And you can't go, and the max you can have is 49 people. That maxes you out at 735 square foot for the place of worship.
Correct.
Okay.
For the room, for the one room.
Right, just for that, the sanctuary, not
Correct.
the mikvah and bathrooms, but
Correct.
just the sanctuary. Okay.
Al, did you have something to say on that?
I think it said under residential places of assembly, it indicated to use 20 square foot per person. Now, if you're gonna go to the other one, though, to neighborhood places, I don't know if that's it. But,
Don't understand them.
I didn't understand that.
that'll probably be the 15. If that's close.
I didn't understand what he was referencing.
Neither did I.
Okay. 2, 10, 12.1. D2. The floor area per person for a residential place of worship shall be calculated as 20 square feet per person.
I don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah, I don't know either, because it says B section 4, it's 15.
Yeah. No more than 49 occupants.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just telling you what it means. Now, but you're looking to go at the neighborhood place of worship, correct?
Again, I think it's the better fit because I don't think we're gonna qualify under residential
That's fine.
place of assembly. And I think the residential place of worship, if we comply with that, it has, an expedited review process and the requirement for a public hearing is waived. So that's what I'm looking to try and fit into that box. To see if we did fit in the box, but right away we see the residential place of worship occupancy requirements were already too high, right?
Yep. You're bigger than the house.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh, no, we gotta, there's a little new entrance to the house, 176 square feet. Well, I want to leave that out. So that goes into the house. And I calculated it about 49.89% based upon the numbers I have. So it
yeah,
definitely is a little
I
big.
didn't get a chance to calculate it because I didn't know you were changing the category. So this is going to have to be recalculated and come back. I also have a question about the mikveh that was illegally installed in the back of the house. Is that going to remain there, or is it going to be replaced by the commercial mikveh?
Definitely gonna be replaced. That's why I'm going for that extension. It's an ugly mikveh. It's not a,
Well, it's an ugly mikveh that was installed illegally. So
you're right.
we need to fix that or move forward with this.
No, definitely. No, definitely. That's why we came over here to the board and would like to go and make it approved. And more, actually, the whole process should be, the whole synagogue, everything should be, corrected as I promised, like to you a long time ago.
Okay,
Well, Lou, you want it recalculated?
It's got to be reclassified and recalculated, and I need the actual measurements on here. I can't guess at the size of the house and the size of the new square footage.
And the mikvah included.
Well, the mikveh he's either going to fix or remove, so that's something we got to deal with in court. But
Yeah, sounds we're gonna do a new mikvah.
no, there's gonna be a new mikveh inside the,
man, but there's one currently existing, so
okay. All right. I
Yeah.
think, see if I had,
Am I
see if
correct that you have
Fire
two,
department letters that we received about a turning radius,
oh, yeah, let's,
fire alarm, and then the Airmont fire inspector letter.
Yeah, why is he referring this to more than 30 feet in height? Is this building more than 30 feet to height? Sounds
Because
like
it
a
doesn't
one
have-
and a half, two-story building.
he doesn't have a drawing that says it's not.
Okay, so it's a general comment. I guess the revised plan should identify the exact height.
Correct.
Okay, that's simple.
and then on the fire department letter, they're talking about having a turning radius. Turning radius for what?
It says the tower entering the parking lot.
Oh, all right, not to circulate through, just the
No,
proper
it's just
radius.
probably just going to pull in straight and then back out. But they got to get the opening on the driveway wide enough that they can make the turn in.
Okay. Okay. All right, so, let me just see if I had any other, well, I guess if I have any other questions, Lou, I'll give you a call, but you certainly clarified a lot of my questions, so I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. So we'll get you some updated floor plans with some numbers so
That'd be
that
great. Thank you.
calculations and determine what all the appropriate areas of measurement are and what's required.
Right. February 20th is the deadline for the March 11th CDRC.
I'm sorry, could you say those dates one more time?
Sure, February 20th is the deadline for a meeting on March 11th.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay,
All right, thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
The next application is Congregation Hostilia. It's a proposed freestanding place of worship. We have a proposed site plan and it's located at 2 Beatrix Road. I believe we have Rachel and Moshe on for this.
Oh,
Moshe Savitz.
oh,
There was
Um,
no attorney on the application.
okay, then I'll start. So the application is for an addition to an existing building to be used as a freestanding place of worship. Currently there was an existing residence, but this will be used as a freestanding place of worship. It is an R40 zone. Based on the size of the sanctuary, we calculated 54 parking spaces required. We were providing 22. And based on the information I had from the congregation, they said that for their weekday gatherings, the 22 spaces would be sufficient. And then when they have the full congregation is on Shabbos and holidays when they would be walking anyways. Were you trying to say something, Moshe?
No, I'm listening.
Okay. So we had a sanctuary space of 3,200 square feet, and so that's where and we used one space per 60 square feet. But if you're telling me we have to do it based on 1 per 15, then that's going to change. So I defer to you, Lou.
no, the calculation is done 2 ways. It's based on and actually in this case, it's you are correct.
Okay.
It doesn't, the residential ones go 2 ways. It goes by the number of.
Oh, okay. I was like, I know I saw this somewhere because I
No,
didn't
you're
make up
right in that
60,
code.
but I'm like, I don't know because each one is Okay, so
Right.
then, because I've done more that are just the freestanding place of worship, so that's what I kind of followed with this, and that's
You
where I
are
got the
correct
one
with
for
freestanding,
60.
That is right.
You would need 54 spaces, but realistically, I mean, unless we took like, you know, 2 curb cuts and covering the whole lot, but they said that realistically that they don't need that many spaces because when the congregation is full is when they can't drive, so the 22 accommodates the daily minions and daily traffic.
I had a question about how you got the 3,200 square feet of sanctuary space. Because I have no interior drawings.
Let me see.
Because right now the current structure has an open top floor. And I'm assuming this other structure is also gonna have at least 1 floor, probably 2. It's gonna be way bigger than 3,200 square feet.
Moshe, did you provide any architecturals? I don't see anything on my side.
No, we don't have any architecturals that we provided, but the concept is that the new add-on is going to be the sanctuary space, which is going to be 2,500 square feet.
Right.
And then the existing open space on the top floor is going to be used as the women's section. So that's the sanctuary space that we're using.
Okay.
The lower floor of the existing structure is staying as is. It's going to have bathrooms and entry and all that. The lower section of the new add-on is going to be for now unfinished space. We don't know what we're going to use it. It's just because it's a steep slope property. We might as well have the extra space. Maybe we'll use it eventually for a kiddish room or for something.
Well, that would be my next question. What is the height in the back of this thing gonna be? Because you got looks like a 15-foot grade drop from the height of the original foundation, plus the height of the building, which makes it about 48 feet.
So I'm gonna let Rachel answer to that, but I believe we're building a retaining wall. We're gonna bring up the grade, and it should be only a 2-story. So
Well,
we
so
shouldn't.
your lower level, because you're going into the grade, you're going from like 95 down to 83. So it's 12 feet. So it's bigger than a normal, you know, so you have that height. So, but yeah, that's where you need to talk with your architect. But if
Right,
that's
because
the
you got
lower
12
level
on
that's
top
being
of the 2
used,
floors, which would be 12 on top of the 28 to 30. So you'd be around 42 feet. Because the parking lot is at 81, and the building is at 96. Plus,
Well,
I wanted to let you know that as the building inspector, I get to determine, since this property has 2 front yards, which is the rear yard and which is the side yard.
okay.
So the rear yard in this case is, as usual, the opposite one that you chose. So the rear yard, you don't need a variance for side yard, you need a variance for rear yard. And minimum rear yard, the minimum rear yard you meet, but you just need the variance for rear yard setback, 29 feet down from 50. I always choose the side opposite the front door, and the front door of this house faces Beatrice.
okay, so I'll just switch that. That's fine.
Rachel, yeah, you have to fix the bulk table to that. As far as the height, we'll make sure not to exceed the height. I don't think we should be exceeding the 30-foot height. What is it? It's 30 to the eve, right?
Yeah, and that would be from the parking lot, and the parking lot is 12 feet lower than the base driveway
Oh,
on,
it's based on the parking lot?
that's for the
That's
fire
one of the
calculation.
grades that one of your sides.
Right.
I thought it's based on the average.
Well, in this case, the
Grade.
fire truck is not going to be parking on Beatrice or Smith Hill. It's going to be pulling into the parking lot. So if he can't reach a ladder truck up there, that one corner is going to be 48 to 50 feet high. I don't know what you want to do with that. And there's only only one floor in the addition, or is there 2 floors?
It's going to be unfinished basement and 1 floor for the sanctuary.
But
It'll have a high ceiling to match up with the
right, I
existing
figured you
one.
were matching the existing roof. So
Correct.
that's my question, because you have 12 feet. Is the basement going to be 12 feet, and then you're going to have a 2-story upper section? Because you got your grade change is almost 15 feet, and then you want a 2-story building. So that's why I'm asking it. It's almost,
Well, I can keep it to 30 if the parking lot wouldn't be an issue. But if the parking lot becomes an issue, then by default I'm exceeding my height.
Well, that's, I think, the problem you're gonna run into, because you're down at parking, you're within 2 feet of the parking lot, you got a walkway back there. So you're gonna be at grade level on the back side of this building, or the grade for the parking lot.
Rachel, is there an option of bringing up the parking lot and moving the retaining wall to the edge of the property? It's gonna be a lot of buildup, but I don't know if we'll be able to come in. It's gonna become pretty steep to get into the parking lot.
Right.
Well, we're limited by the slope of the road because
Right.
the Smith Hill is steep. So
Unless if we come in a little higher, closer to
yeah, so we
Beatrix,
could
and
try to
make
have like a
a,
long, have it come in further up and have like a longer entrance to come in.
right, I'm not opposed to that. I mean, we'll be coming in closer to the intersection of
You'll be
Beatrix.
closer to the intersection
We're gonna
and
need a lot more retaining wall.
you'll have a bigger retaining wall. You
You're
will
also gonna have
have
line of
less
sight.
And then you're gonna tell me
demand of
that,
less parking.
You're gonna have line of sight issues if you come in close to the turn. You
and
won't
then
be,
you're gonna tell me
Yeah,
you're having, right, and then you tell me you have an issue bringing in a fire truck as well with the turnaround, so.
yep. I do have
But
one,
it's definitely calculated that way.
huh?
It's definitely calculated from where the fire trucks pulls up.
Yeah, it is. It's where it's the height of the fire truck to the height of the eave. So it's, I mean, in this case, it's not like it's a foot or two, it's 12 to 15 feet, so it's not, it'll be definitely noticeable. It's not like there's no way a ground ladder will work anywhere near the back of this building. So you're gonna need an aerial ladder truck.
Because I remember having that conversation with the state once on a different project, and I have to go back to see what they said. There was also an issue where we had a bunch of condo units and they were all stepping up.
Right.
Each one was stepping up, and the inspector over there wanted to count to the tallest one,
Right.
but the state gave a determination that it's 100% like each of them
Average height.
average height or something individually. So maybe we can avoid having to go for a height variance or
I
something.
can't, without actually seeing the drawings, I can't. I'm trying to visualize it in my head, knowing the grade and the lot. That's a seriously tall drop off in the back.
Right. I knew I can satisfy the 30 feet, not to exceed the 30 feet, but if it's calculated from the driveway, I tell you right now, we have a problem. So, and I don't see any other way to calculating it. I mean, to fix it.
Yeah, I'd have to think on that one. The other request that I do have, it says the building to be used as a MIGFA. Can we actually legalize that? Because that was built with a nonsense permit as a shed. And the MIGFA was never actually inspected or certified.
So let the record reflect what I wasn't involved in that.
No, you weren't. I know you weren't.
I will make sure that it gets done properly this
I
time.
mean, if
It'll
we're gonna
be part
legalize-
of the project.
Right. If we're gonna legalize the house of worship, it would be a good idea to have a safe MIGFA.
Absolutely. That was the intention.
Thank you.
So Lou, you need architectural submitted?
I'd like to see what we're talking about here, because I can't visualize how much of a drop off we got. There's
Okay.
gonna be no walk-ins on the back of this thing, right?
There would to be a walk-in probably into the basement below the sanctuary.
Okay, that's doable.
Because that provides the handicap accessibility and then they would have an elevator inside to get up. Because you
Okay.
can't get from the parking lot
Up
up
those stairs.
without a staircase. So there's a staircase for, otherwise they have to go in and use an elevator. That's the
Right.
only way for ADA accessibility.
Right. Yeah, there's no winning on that one.
Well, I could have a walkway from Beatrix,
Yeah.
coming into the second floor, because I have no use of an elevator on Shabbos. So
Correct. Well, that would
it's
be my
really-
next question. If you could do either a smaller parking lot that'll hold 2 or 3 ADA spots on the front on Beatrix, and then do a small driveway, you could cover the ADA issue there. You wouldn't need an
Okay.
elevator.
Well, I'm not opposed to that, to get some parking on Rachel, you're taking notes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Because you got a good chunk of property and you got that meandering walkway out there and it's fairly level on Beatrix.
Right, right. That's my intention. If we have an ADA person, that's where we would bring him up to the upper floor of the sanctuary on Shabbos.
Okay, so we can look at this and revise and resubmit.
Yep. Any other comments?
You have the fire inspector and Tolman fire letters, and you have the letter from Fusco Engineering. So we'll need the architecturals.
Yeah,
No
I
problem.
think the fire stuff is all kind of related to what we talked about.
Yeah,
The architecturals will address a lot.
and they did submit the signed EAF. I sent it after I sent the initial submission when it wasn't signed, but I did send it to everybody, so
Yeah,
we do have it.
we missed that signature, but thank you.
Mhm.
We had a couple of days where our scanner was not working, and so I couldn't.
Okay, so the applicant signed it, not you,
Oh,
Rachel.
yes, but it was at that time, so we had like a few days when one died and we were waiting for the next one.
That's fine, but we have it now. I just wanted
Okay, good,
noted in the letter. I just wanted to point it
Okay.
out. That's all.
yes.
Okay.
Oh,
So
no,
you
so
resubmit and
Thank
come back.
But, we need these plans to determine, what we're gonna do.
I really can't hear.
Al, we can't hear you.
So, can you hear me now?
No, you gotta go louder.
Let me see if I can do it.
My volume's as high as it can go.
Dave could have written this.
Yeah, that's
That's worse.
how's that? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Slightly.
A little bit.
I'm just saying, we're gonna re-review this once we, get your new plan. But the basics of it are the same. It will determine whether you need to go to ZBA or not, depending on how you need to go to it.
Okay.
All right, so we'll revise and resubmit.
Okay.
If I understood correctly, you said he will review the revision and
I think that's what he said.
Yes,
Right.
and look at the variances that are required. And if you do obtain an attorney, I need that one page of the application updated, please.
no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. The next application is Bonus Pinya at 51 Church Road for a proposed School of Religious Instruction. A proposed site plan, architecturals and renderings were submitted. And I believe we have Ira now, this one.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
So this is a brand new application for a school at 51 Church Road, which is the corner lot with Smith Hill Road. The parcel has a lot area of a little over 96,200 square feet, 80,000 is required. And so the parcel is big enough. There is no dormitory that is proposed. So I believe this is a use as of right. Rachel, you want to walk them through the plan itself?
Sure. Hold on, I think I can share. Oh, never mind. It's okay. So we set it up so that there's a driveway that goes around the building. The school will be in the middle. It's gonna face Church Road. There's no driveway proposed on Smith Hill. And we are proposing 2 curb cuts on Church so that the buses can come in and out, that there's circulation. And we did provide an area for the buses to be parked for pickup drop off, not parked during the day, just, while they're idling to load and unload. And we have an area in the back that is open for a play area. They are proposing a tennis court.
You
That
want to
will
share the
provide-
screen, Rachel, so they could see it?
Oh, now yeah, before it wasn't letting me, sorry.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, now I can.
Okay.
That'll make it easier.
Yeah.
Okay. So the building is here in the middle. We are on the corner of Church and Smith Hill. So there's the 2 curb cuts so that the buses can come in. There's an in and out for the buses to line up to discharge the students or load them. This is the area that's going to be open for a play area with the tennis court, so that there is play space available. Based on the parking requirements, we listed the requirements of 1 space per 300 square feet of floor area, or 1 space per 12 students, whichever is greater, plus the 1 per 2 students over 16. So based on that, we came out that 138 spaces would be required. We're providing 45. There's 375 students. Based on the number of faculty, we believe that the parking is sufficient. We are also requesting a variance for the fence fence or retaining wall greater than 6 feet. We are asking for a variance for the front yard for the parking, and then the FAR, we're at 0.46, where 0.4 is required, and development coverage. But we tried to keep an area that is open so that we do meet the needs of students. We have a fence for privacy as well for the neighbors, and there is a landscaping plan that was provided.
Yeah, just want to go back to the parking requirement for a second. While your code requires that we pick the greater of the square footage or the student seats, based upon student seating, I believe we only need 62 spaces. So, every code in Rockland County seems to have this. Okay, and every code in Rockland County seems to require that a parking variance be obtained, because they go on this square footage basis, which frankly doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You've got area within the school that's not going to be occupied at the same time, lunchrooms, social halls slash gyms or auditoriums, and so you've got large areas within the schools that just are not occupied at the same time as the classrooms. So we'll make that argument to the ZBA. In addition, with respect to the development coverage, we have the same thing. Virtually every code in Rockland County, including Airmont's, has the same development coverage for a single-family house as it does for an institutional use. And there's just no way that you can provide parking and the sidewalks and everything else and comply with that. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of CDRC. You have questions, comments? I know we just received comments from Al and from the fire department.
I have a question about where the fence or retaining wall that is greater than 6 feet is actually located.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Oh, it's actually along the front, closer to Smith Hill. But it's still a property line, so, so I didn't know how that would count.
The front of the property, like where the two driveway cuts are?
No, along Smith Hill.
Okay,
You want to
Oh.
show it on the plan so Lou can see it,
yeah, I don't,
Yeah,
please?
so like along this side here,
and is it a wall or is it a fence?
we have a wall and a fence.
Excellent. 2-4. Is there a fence on the tennis court as well?
We don't currently show a fence, but I'll talk
I'm
to them.
assuming there's a 10-foot fence on the tennis court.
Probably, otherwise the ball is gonna go into Smith Hill Road.
Correct.
So we are leveling out some of this area so that, one, it helps for coverage on the drainage area, and then also it provides a level place so that they do have a place to play
Right.
instead of it being on a slope that,
Okay,
while it
so the
might be
fence is
open
on,
space, this is actually usable open space.
the fence is on top of the retaining wall that's 9 feet tall?
We'll have it on the top
All right,
so that
so it's actually a 9-foot retaining wall with what, a 6-foot fence or an 8-foot fence on it?
probably 6. We wouldn't.
Oh,
usually
you're
put it-
looking at a 15-foot high wall when you're driving up Smith Hill.
Yes.
Excellent. The other question I had is based on the architecturals. You have over 300 people in the basement, but no light, ventilation, and limited exits, and the exits are 214 feet apart. Has anybody reviewed that for fire egress or calculations for that?
We could talk to the architect.
All right.
In looking at, Fusco's letter, it does require a traffic study, a SWIP, a certified, survey, and some other items on the site plan.
Yeah, a SWIP was
that's good.
provided, but he's asking for it to be signed, that's fine, and we have the survey, I can provide that, that's not a problem, we did that to start.
Is there any signage? Proposed signage? Because that, depending on what you're doing, either would require a building permit, excuse me, or a sign plan with planning board, depending on what you're doing.
I assume there'll be some sort of signage at some point. So.
Well, you're better off for showing it now, right, Lou?
Yeah,
Understood.
that
We're
way the
talking about-
building, the planning board could review it, and if it's too large or too, I can't, if it's too big for the village requirements that I could approve, the planning board could approve it anyway, so it's better, you're better getting it in now.
All right, I made a note about that, thank you.
Mhm.
Also, do you see the fire department letter where they want to be able to try and pull a tower truck around the back of the building?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll look, they actually may be able to get all the way around, because I tried to keep it.
The only problem I see is the turn and the width of the roadway, because it appears to be about 21 feet.
Yes, we made it narrow, I mean, I think we did 20 feet so that you could have traffic flow, but without it trying
Right.
to keep our development coverage from being too crazy. But I will see if we can get the truck around. I don't know for certain. I can also try and I have a little bit of wiggle room on the corners for the turn to be a little bit
Layered.
softer if I need to, yeah.
Yeah. We also have access around the other three sides of the building, so. But we'll work to see what we
Yeah,
can do.
I'll see if it's, I don't wanna answer because I didn't try to go around the back, but we can try it.
We'll see what we can do.
Oh, they're gonna make the changes and then resubmit for CDRC, everyone? Okay, thank
Do,
you.
do we need to come back for CDRC?
Yes.
Lou's shaking his head.
Al,
Al,
what do you think?
Chris is saying yes.
And you want a traffic study is the consensus?
Yeah. That's in Al's letter.
Well,
Usually
all
when
right,
it's a
so
certain
the
number
question
of,
is, the question is how far out do you want that traffic study to go?
And does the traffic study have to be submitted to CDRC prior to going to the board?
no, but I have to have it in time to send it to the planning board traffic engineer so that you have adequate comments. Usually your people, can talk to the traffic engineer if you want to discuss any specs. But, when it's a certain number of, either congregants or occupants, that's when it triggers the traffic study, if I'm correct, Al, right?
Yes, that's what John used to say.
Yeah, that's what John, yeah.
Okay, I'm not opposed to the traffic study. I just wanted to know if we can submit to the next CDRC.
You
But
can,
I know we're not gonna have the traffic study
No.
done, but we could try to have it done for the next planning board.
Yeah, I think Moshe, we should have an internal discussion about some of this stuff too.
okay.
Okay.
Who's your traffic engineer, Suzanne?
It's Nelson Pope in,
Oh, so
Melville,
it's
Rhode
Osmond,
Island.
okay.
It's Osmond. It's the same one for one of your other projects.
Yep, okay, well, believe it or not, some communities switch them around.
No, that's who the planning board, determined to use. They voted on that company.
Okay. Okay, great.
And they're very familiar with our processes.
Yep, okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Have a
everyone.
good day.